y'all, Heather here from Wildflowers and Pistols, and I just wanted to finish talking to you about how to sand and distress your piece after you've gotten it all painted, and how to seal it. So, as you can see here, I've gotten it all painted and ready to go, and that's after 2 coats. And if you remember from when I talked to you in the last tutorial, I had mixed 2.5 tablespoons of the milk paint powder with 2.5 tablespoons of warm water, and that was more than plenty to paint this whole chair. So it really doesn't take a whole lot. But for starters, I have my sandpaper, and this is about 180 grits, so nothing too coarse. And then I've got this handy paint scraper that's really kind of gross, so sorry about that. And then my all-time favorite product is shellac, and that's what I'm going to seal it with. Super easy and great to work with. So let me set this down and show you what we're doing here. Alright, so first you're going to want to take your sandpaper, and pretty much always you're going to want to sand your piece after you've painted it with milk paint. Milk paint is kind of gritty, and it has this kind of a chalky feel. It's not like chalk paint where it leaves chalk dust on your hand when you touch it, but it does have a flat finish and whatever. But anyways, just take your sandpaper and you can sand down the edges a bit to get the distressed look, and I'll show you up close here in just a second what I'm kind of doing here. Anyway, so you'll just sand, and then it makes it super smooth after you've done that. Let me show you up close here if I can. You can see here I've just kind of sanded down the edges a little bit. Okay, now, if, like on this piece, it didn't chip, crackle, or flake any at all. It adhered really well. And that's where sometimes you might want to take this, your paint scraper. And this will help you scrape paint off to give it more of an aged look, if you so choose. And then let me show you that. So as you can see, helps give a naturally aged chippiness. And then you can just go over that and sand that too. And now I'm only gonna show you these small parts because it would take a little while to do the whole thing. That'd be a long video, and no one wants to stick around for all that. So I'm just gonna use this. Typically, I would use a dry paper towel or rag to wipe off the milk paint dust after I've sanded it. But my old sweater will work just fine. Okay, now you're going to take your handy dandy shellac, and I use this for everything. I'll do blog posts about this stuff. I really truly love it. Besides milk paint itself, this stuff's awesome. My other favorite. Okay, but anyways, all I'm going to do, shake it up, and where I've already sanded and everything, I'm just going to spray a coat on. And I will do 2 coats, and I think you might be able to kind of see where it's wet. And shellac dries super quick, like within 5 minutes, so you really don't have a whole lot of wait time with it. It does depend a little bit on the weather, temperature, and all that, but really it's always pretty much dried within 5 minutes for me, so that's awesome. I'm pretty impatient, so I want results now, and shellac does that for me. One thing you should know about shellac, it does kind of have a yellow tint to it after a while. It can dry that way, so you want to make sure that you're going to like that on top of the color you already have. With this purple, you're not going to really notice that too much, but say you use like a pure white like our Priscilla, you would probably see it on there. So just a heads up there. In that case, I would probably recommend polyacrylic. I do not like that in the spray can. I think it just splatters and kind of makes a mess. So I always brush that on with a paintbrush. I personally don't use waxes, and that's just a personal preference. And I do that because I know when I've done a custom piece for someone, and if I put wax on it, they're probably, after 6 months of using it, they're probably not going to want to reapply that wax. So to me, it just makes more sense to just do something once and have it durable forever instead of having to reapply stuff. Which that's what you have to do with wax. About every 6 months or so, depending on how high traffic of an area it is, you'll want to reapply that wax. Otherwise, fingerprints and oil and stuff will stick to that and you will never get it off. And that would be kind of crappy. So, anyways, this is just what I use, and there you have it. So you mix your milk paint within just a couple seconds, super easy. You can apply it super easy. You don't have to have a fancy paintbrush, no fancy equipment, just old plastic cups and craft sticks or a spoon, whatever, to mix it up. And paintbrush just to slap it on, doesn't have to be pretty when you put it on. And just sand it down how you want, distress it or not distress it, but just sand it down so it's nice and smooth, and then seal it. Super, super easy. And so there's no prep work like with latex paints and whatever. It really cuts your time in half, and it gives you a far better look, that I think. It's more authentic and natural and like you would want, not manipulated. So there you have it. I'm sure I will be in touch and give you more updates and tutorials and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Thanks. Bye.